caucus chair for the New York State Elections Commissioner Association Democratic Caucus, and as well as a Syracuse resident and proponent for electoral reform. I understand that there's a resolution before this body to support electoral reforms at the New York State level, as well as early voting, and I hope and express my support for that adoption. The reason being is it is time now for New York State to finally join the other 37 states that already have early voting in it. And with Governor Cuomo's proposal to alleviate the burden on localities by providing state funding for early voting, the main detraction against early voting has now been lifted. Early voting happens in states all across the country. In fact, the vast majority of our country have an option for early voting that alleviates lines on election day and increases voter satisfaction. And with New York State having one of the lowest voter turnouts across the country consistently, we must address these electoral reforms and make them a reality and give convenience to our voters and allow them to express their constitutional rights in a way that is convenient for them. We work longer hours than we've ever worked before. We have multiple income households. We have to balance childcare, we have to balance school activities, and people get sick, and all kinds of other things happen when elections happen on just one day, the first Tuesday in November, and we need electoral voting early voting to ease that burden. In the states that have early voting, we have seen their usage of early voting increase as time goes on, as voters demand more early voting, and they take advantage of this ability to decide on their own time when they want to go vote and how they want to go vote, and cast their ballot in an anonymous, safe, and secure way that they are assured will be counted and reported on election night along with the other ballots. It is important that New York State moves forward with this finally. It's important that they do that this year, because then we will implement it in 2019. And as an election commissioner, I'd much rather implement early voting in a local year for the first time in 2019 to get ready to perfect it for the big 2020 presidential election that could be one of the biggest elections in our lifetime, which will have not only the president and Congress and Senate, as well as redistricting will be on the ballot as well. So I urge this council to support this resolution. I urge New York State to keep the early voting funding in the budget, and I thank Governor Cuomo and yourselves as leaders to have this conversation and put this conversation forward, because it is important, and I think it will be a benefit to the citizens of not only Syracuse, but New York State as a whole. I'm happy to take any questions, but I just want to advise and support this resolution. Thank you.
Questions?
Yes, please.
How would the early voting occur?
Well, in the governor's bill, I mean, we'll see what the final language says, but in the governor's bill, it would be 12 days before the election. There would be several locations throughout the different counties. It's one location, it's a minimum of one location for every 50,000 voters. So as our registration rules stand right now, it would be 5 to 6 locations in Onondaga County. And those locations will be determined by a meeting of the Board of Elections. So I don't want to speculate on where those locations will be, but one of those locations will probably be the board itself. There'll probably be regional centers where people in different regions go to vote until technology is put into place where we can have voter on demand, so people can stop into any center and get their ballot, which is the ultimate goal. We'd have at least 2 days of extended evening voting during the week, and of course there would be weekend voting as well.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much.
Move on with the agenda now.